What's up, guys? Welcome back to I-90. Me and JD are back. It's been a minute. Glad to be back.
Good to be
though.
back.
Glad to be feeling good too. And
Hell yeah, man.
like I've been telling everybody, as long as we're feeling good, we're gonna do this because it ain't gonna slow me down.
Nah, man, you're a
So,
warrior. Hell yeah.
we're just going to jump right into it. First of all, let's get some introductions out of the way. We brought a friend with us, too. This is Birdman Drug Stories, who is from the local area here in Massachusetts, and he's going to be hanging out with us and talking some Celtics and some talking some football as well. But Danny and Birdman, thank you for coming on the show, buddy. Welcome back. Been a minute.
Yeah, thanks for having
Thanks,
me out,
Danny.
man. Welcome back to Beantown Breakdown for the I-90 podcast. A big honor for me to be on. Thanks for having me on. Can't wait.
No problem, Danny. No problem, buddy. No problem, Birdman. Always a good time to have you, man. Always a good time.
Honored to
So
have you,
let's
Danny.
dive right into this, guys. Let's jump right into this. We're gonna start it off with some NBA topics and the Celtics. They've been playing on a tear lately, and I know for a long time during the season, like the beginning of the season, probably up until about a week or two before the All-Star break, I was ready to eat somebody's soul with that team. There were major problems. It wasn't good. It wasn't going in a good direction at all. They were fighting amongst themselves. The team chemistry was awful. It was everybody was playing selfish. Everybody was out for themselves. There was no distribution of the ball. It was just hero ball, and it was all me. It like a complete the complete 180 opposite of what they're doing now. And a lot of fans could see that there was potential there, and that was the most frustrating part about it is if they actually started to work together, like could work really well, but they just wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do it. Like the coach couldn't get to them, the players couldn't do anything. It was a nice turnaround to see. I'm going to start, JD. What do you think the main reason for the turnaround was? And then we'll go down to Danny, and I'll give you my thoughts as well last. So go ahead, JD. What do you think, bud?
Definitely have to be the defensive identity. I think the new coach has probably has been trying to instill it the entire season. The new trades probably gave the coach what he was looking for in the scheme, and that kind of trickles down to everybody. Everybody starts to feel like they fit in. So, props to Ime Udoka for, just finding the right pieces, him and Brad Stevens for finding the right pieces, because that's what it all comes down to. The game is so much about chemistry, and that really just one little thing can change everything about what your team is. And I think that you have the wing players especially playing more aggressively. I think that matters a lot when they feel like they are engaged and fit in with the scheme. Then that really is what I would credit that to. It's all about chemistry, for sure.
No doubt. And like you said too, like Tatum and Brown, they're not afraid to drive the basketball now. You know what I mean? Like before, they would just sit there and shoot a long range 2 or a 3, and if it banged off the rim, they wouldn't care. Now, if they see a lane, they attack.
That's a big deal. And that'll pay off in the playoffs.
What do you think, Danny? What do you got? What do you got, Birdman?
Man, I think it comes down to hustle plays. They weren't making the hustle plays to start the year. The loose balls, the hustle plays. JD mentioned we had no team chemistry. And he was right. The team chemistry was low, and the morale got low, and we couldn't get it together. We were below 500 most of the year. The first part of the year, we were below 500 by a couple of games almost every day. And we were in a panic, Bobby, for a little bit, thinking we couldn't turn it around. But I think the turnaround was a couple minor transactions. We got that guy White. He's been doing great off the bench. We touched on him. I think it's just hustle plays, chemistry, and of course team defense. And let's not understate the huge addition that Robert Williams being healthy has been as a big man defender to protect the rim. What have we needed the past couple of years in the playoffs where we came up short? A rim protector. If he can stay healthy, we got one. If we got one, we're a problem.
No, that is a good point too, man. Like I kind of honestly I kind of forgot about like he's Rob Williams, like, because last year that was the biggest issue with him last year, is that when he was on the court, he was a major problem for people. He was a major issue for people, but it was staying on the court that was the problem. He had a lot of hip issues, a lot of like soft tissue stuff was going wrong with him. So I heard something that Jaylen Brown and Tatum went to Rob and said, "Look, man, we need you. We need you this year. Like,
Really?
you got to be healthy and you got to be on the court and be a difference maker." And I guess, like, and I read this in the offseason, and it kind of went through a bunch of the Celtic beat writers as well, that they had talked to Rob and Ime Udoka has said something to him as well. Like, dude, if you're a problem on the court when you're healthy and you're 100% and you're doing what you do, but you got to stay there. And ever since then, he's kind of been taking care of his body, and he's a difference maker, man. He's big and he can move, and he's tough under the rim. And like you said, Danny, like you said, Birdman, that's what we've needed. That the Celtics have needed that type of a guy for years now, and they have a young one, and if he continues to develop it, like you said, he could really be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And what's huge about defense and the team energy? What he's getting blocks that energizes the whole team and brings the morale and chemistry up, and he's getting alley-oop slam dunks. When you get an alley-oop slam dunk in basketball, when you go back on defense, your team is fired up and flexing, and the other team has their head down, and that's a big game changer on any given night.
Hold on one sec, guys. We gotta acknowledge something real quick here for 1 second. We got to acknowledge one comment here in the chat real quick here, and then we'll get back to the show. Leedy, tell your dad, keep fighting, dude. Keep fighting. We're all with him, dude. We're all with him. He ain't doing this alone. I'm in the fight with him. I'm in the same fight with him. You tell him keep fighting, and don't ever let that shit get him down, man. They'll get it. They'll get it.
Stay strong, man. What's
So,
up, everybody?
I think a huge part of it too is just the team defense. Like, I believe it was ever since the All-Star break, they're playing the number one D. They're playing as the number one D in the league right now. They're holding teams to I think it was 100.4 points a game. Something like that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, when you have Tatum, who's one of the best two-way players in the league, especially when he wants to be, and then when you have him buying into the system, and you got Brown, he's not small either. Smart is one of the better defensive guards, and then you mentioned Robert Williams. It's like when you got everyone buying into the scheme, then, like, who knows? This team could end up in the finals. That's the thing. They're not. I wouldn't pick them as my favorites out of the East, but they're definitely. You can't count them out, though. You definitely can't. Like the Bulls. Sure, you can't count them out, but and we'll talk about that later. But I have more faith, even as a Bulls fan. I have more faith in the Celtics making the playoffs just because of the personnel they have, making the finals. Than the Bulls, and that says a lot. I think it's a lot to do with their defense and their size.
That's true. And like Danny was saying too, the hustle plays. Like, at the beginning of the season, they weren't chasing basketballs down on the court. They weren't diving for stuff. That they weren't under the rim, making that second or third, trying to get that second or third rebound after it comes off the rim. And they're doing it now. And it's just like Danny had said, that if you get 2 or 3 tries at it, you're going to get one of them.
They weren't making an extra pass early in the year. It was hero balls. My turn. Jaylen Brown's turn. Tatum's turn. And they would do my turn, and play no team ball. And that's bad for morale too. So since the turnaround, I had a nice little nugget in my little research before the show, Bobby. You're going to like this. I believe since the All-Star break, when we've had our top 5 players out there, I believe Horford, Williams, Tatum, Smart, and Jaylen Brown. I think if we have those 5 out there, our plus minus is number 1 in the whole entire league for players that played at least 200 minutes together by 7 points per game. They're plus 7 on the second place top starting 5. So we have the best starting 5 since the All-Star break.
Wow.
It's just been a crazy turnaround for them, and it's like it's good to see. It's good to see.
Talk
I
about
think
getting hot at the right time.
I think part of it too is that like Brown and Tatum at the beginning of the season felt like they didn't have anything. You know what I mean? Like it was just them. So they were like, well, we just got to do what we got to do to, to get to win. And they were trying to do too much. And like you said, like you said, Danny and JD, the trades and the moves, just bringing, taking the guys, making the right subtractions and additions to the team. The one thing that worries me is I know Derek White is a good like spark off the bench, but with the Spurs where he came from, he was kind of a streaky player, which is that's not good. If you get really hot before the playoffs, it's not a good, you need to be, ramped up going into them. Not like I'm just afraid of him doing this. And then when the playoffs start, it falls off that cliff and we get, he shoots 20% from behind the arc and we get, 4 points a game from him. That can't work. He's got to continue to do what he does.
Absolutely.
I mean,
that's a good point.
If that happens, if White falls off a cliff come playoff time, cracks under the pressure, starts shooting like Marcus Smart when he's in a slump, right? If White falls off a cliff, who do we got next that's going to go in line and make those shots? What do you think, Bobby and JD?
See, that's the problem.
Nobody.
That's the problem. I don't think there is anybody else.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like, their bench is that deep, as deep as like the Warriors bench or even the Jazz bench, but like they definitely have some good top end starters. But yeah, that's something maybe they could address during the off season is, hey, like let's add some depth here going forward for sure. That's definitely something to think about. You don't want people to be shaky in the playoffs. You want them to, be relied upon.
With that being said, Bobby, if he's streaky, he could also get on a hot streak come playoff time, and then we'll be in the money.
And be really good. So that's the one concern that I have with Derek White, because he is playing so well. He's given them a lot, like off the bench. Because he like Danny had, like Birdman had said, that it's the hustle plays, and White is not afraid to make those hustle plays on defense, on offense and defense. He's not afraid to stick his nose in there and go for a rebound, or he's not afraid to go dive, to go swat after a basketball in defense either. He's making those effort plays both ways, and that's what you off the bench. That's what you need.
Absolutely, that's what's up.
So let's talk playoff. The playoff picture's taking, kind of taking shape. Me personally, I think at some, like, this is a crash course. I think the Celtics and Sixers are going to end up playing each other in the first round. That's what I think. I think it's looking more and more like that with where the Celtics and the Sixers are sitting, that we're going to see them in the first round. I want to see what you guys think. How do you like the Celtics' chances if they do end up playing Philadelphia? I'll start with Danny and then go up to I'll start with Birdman and then go up to JD. What do you think, Danny?
All right, so for the Philly matchup, I'll tell you what, I think that we do match up great with Philly, but I don't really want to see Philly. I don't really want to see Philly early in the playoffs. We have a great history of like taking out Philly every playoff year. Most of the time we take them out, but not every time. And we got a good matchup against. We have Marcus Smart. He can lock down on James Harden. They've always had a rivalry, and Marcus Smart's gotten the better of James Harden on more than one occasion. He can get in James Harden's head, throw him off his whole game. Same thing with Al Horford. If you think back to the old playoff series against the Philly, Al Horford used to get under the skin of Joel Embiid, and Embiid would have a terrible game. He'd be complaining to the referees. He's not mentally engaged with the game, and boom, Philly go down the tubes. So I don't want that matchup, but if it happens, it's not that bad of a matchup. The matchup I do want, not to throw shots or throw shade at the top right-hand corner, if I could handpick my first-round opponent, I'm taking Chicago. They have no playoff experience, and I think they're like that team that every year there's one or two teams. They have a great regular season, but no one takes them serious because they're not ready yet. They're just making strides in the right direction, but they're not a playoff threat. Not to me.
JD, what do you got, bud? What do you think?
That is interesting, and I have after looking at it, if I was a Celtics fan, I would want the Bulls probably for round one. But here's the reason why: because they aren't as healthy as they were early on in the year, and it seems like DeMar DeRozan is coming back down to earth. He was kind of like he was having like one of the best middle of the seasons that we've ever seen in the history of the league, and then all of a sudden he kind of he's going back down to 15, 21, 25 points, going back down to his status quo, and there's nothing wrong with that. He's still a great player, but the thing is, we've had a lot of injuries, and do I think that we could win a few rounds? Yeah, it's very possible. But I look at players like Tatum, like Embiid, like Giannis. What up, Pat? Like what up, Phil? And like all these even Trae Young, all these guys, and I think, well, we don't have a guy like maybe Levine can be that guy. We'll see. But he's been dealing with some injuries too, so we don't know how healthy he is going into the playoffs. There's a lot of question marks with the Bulls, and I think that they are kind of liable for a first round bounce from one of the better teams. And right now, if the playoffs ended right now, which it doesn't, the Bulls and the Celtics would be in the playoffs.
They would be playing each other.
So that is something scary. I'm not interested in the Celtics matchup very much.
So
I want the Cavs.
I'm kind of with Birdman there. I don't. Philly doesn't scare me. They really don't. Philadelphia, the Sixers don't scare me. I think like Birdman said, you say, Marcus, go bug the living hell out of James Harden, make his life miserable. Because guess what? If you spend one or two games making James Harden's life miserable, he's gonna quit on you. He's gonna mentally check out, and that's a huge offensive piece gone. And then you just got to worry. And then you just got to worry about Embiid. And here's the thing, right? You're not going to stop Joel Embiid. You're not going to. He's going to get his 35, 38 points a game. But if you worry about Harden and the rest of the team and just lock everybody else down, he can't win a series on its own. Boston's too good. Boston's too good of an offensive team for one guy to beat them, especially Joel Embiid, who's what I mean? Like it's I think that's so Philly doesn't scare me. And then if we do get the Bulls, it's going to depend, like you said, JD and Birdman, it's going to come down to if the Bulls are healthy. If the Bulls are healthy, that's going to be a halfway decent series because both teams play D really well. And they both can shoot from behind the arc well, and both teams have two-way guys that two-way guys. So it's if they're healthy, that would be a halfway decent series. I know the Zach Levine injury is a huge thing. I know that how
healthy is Lonzo?
Well, that's that's what I mean. There's Lonzo too. I thought I read the Levine knee injury is worse than originally thought, which is not good for them either. Because if you take Levine out of that lineup, you're removing a massive piece out of there.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's like taking Jaylen Brown or Tatum out of our lineup. That's one of their top guys. So if he's a question mark, all the more reason to watch Chicago. And I didn't know that Cleveland was a chance. I want Cleveland actually, but hey, Bobby, who would you rather take on, Cleveland or Chicago? As a Boston fan, obviously.
Well, Cleveland's playing good. Cleveland's playing really good as of late.
They're young.
The Cavs have played really, really, really good as of late. I might want to, if I had a choice, I'd probably kick Chicago while they're down.
Yeah,
like
me too.
I'd probably, because it was, because they that's going to be a troublesome matchup for the Bulls if they do get the Celtics, because especially if they're as hurt as they are. If they're as hurt as they are, that's going to be really tough.
Yeah, the Heat are playing really well too. It's crazy. It's been an interesting season. The East is really close.
I don't want any parts of the Heat. That's the last team I want in the Eastern Conference. The last team I would pick on that list to take on, even more so than the Nets, is the freaking Heat. The Heat, they're a solid squad, and I don't want any parts of them come playoff time. They took us out in the bubble.
Yeah, no, there are certain teams that I definitely I don't want to play. I don't want to play Milwaukee. I don't want to play any of those top 3 teams. I want to avoid. It's like you got to avoid them at all costs. Stay away from them until you absolutely have to play them.
Exactly. Till the Eastern Conference Finals, hopefully.
And just hope that you're shooting well.
The East is stacked though. Yeah. This year, for a change, like usually it's the other way. Usually the West is where all the powerhouses are, but there's where like a majority of the powerhouse teams are. But the East is stacked this year. There's a lot of good teams.
Yeah, no doubt.
There's 5 realistic teams that could come out of the East. I'd say there's 5 teams that could make the final.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. The East is stacked.
Miami, Philly, Bucks. I'd throw Boston in there.
Boston and the Sixers. Those are the 5.
Well, I said Philly. So who's the 5th? Probably. Let's see.
Oh, did you say Philly?
Yeah,
Brooklyn. Hey, listen, I'm going Brooklyn. If you
Brooklyn, yeah.
You don't have to throw Brooklyn in there.
I mean, just because they got the talent. They got
KD.
And
so let me ask you, JD. Card. Let me ask you for the Bulls, right? Let's switch over to the Bulls. Who would you, as a Bulls fan, who would you want to face in the first round if you guys get in there?
Well, let's see. I mean, right now, it's just such a toss up between Philly and Celtics. So realistically, the worst thing that they could do is slide to like the 7th seed. Probably it's like the worst thing the Bulls could really do. Maybe the 8th. And I mean, so I would say like I want the Cavs or the Raptors. Probably the Raptors are on a winning streak right now, but I don't think that'll last forever. And I think that DeMar DeRozan versus his old team to knock him off, that'd be fun to watch. Yeah. And I also don't think that they're as a complete team as they were a few years ago. I think they're a good team. They have some good players, but I wouldn't mind facing the Raptors.
I think you guys could beat the Cavs and the Raptors. Even with a weakened squad, I still think you could beat them.
Yeah, I don't really want the Celtics very badly. But yeah. I
mean, the C's are going to get 1 of 2. It's either going to be the Bulls or the Sixers, depending on how the rest of the season goes. It's going to be either the Bulls or the Sixers. If the Celtics keep winning, it's going to be the Sixers.
All right, hope so. Yeah, keep on winning, Celtics. I'll dodge.
But like I said,
I'm okay with the 5th seed.
Philly doesn't scare me. That team is mentally soft, and they have too many guys that'll check out if you beat them up. If you're physical with them and you're in their face and you don't let them do it, like we can get Philly to mentally check out and win that series.
Once Embiid starts to complain to the referees, the series is over. You watched it the last time. I think it was in the bubble. We took out Philly. Remember, me and you, Bobby, were talking about Embiid was such a crybaby. Every freaking game, this guy crying to the ref. But you know what? When he does that, he mentally checks out and he starts pointing the finger. He's pointing the finger out who's not getting the job done. That's not a leader in my book. He ain't showed me he's a leader yet. He's a great player and a great athlete and a freak, but he ain't been a leader yet.
No, I agree. Yeah. I mean, he's a great player. He has the alpha dog in him, but he hasn't gotten it done yet. And one time he got close. The thing is, I do think that Ben Simmons is holding him back. Now there's really no excuse for him or Embiid. I think like now this is the time. Like if you're gonna get it done, you got to get it done in the next 2 or 3 years. Otherwise, like it's not going to work out, and they're going to look to move on. And I'm sure they're going to blame each other and stuff because that's the kind of player, especially Harden. That's the kind of player he is. Harden though, like I feel like there's more pressure on Harden than there is Embiid right now. Like, is he worth that big contract at the end? Well, it's about money, you know what I mean? Like for money wise, like maybe Embiid legacy wise, like this is a bigger deal. But for money, like, do I want to pay Harden like max dollars at Philly, or should I trade him for, you know, like a second round pick or something like that, or whatever you can get for him, like an expiring contract? But anyway, I'm gonna grab a drink of water real quick. Give me 1 second.
Sure, buddy.
God, no.
All right, so Danny, so Birdman here. Let's we're gonna keep it with basketball, man, and let's talk Lakers. Let's talk the rivalry, the Lakers and Celtics. How so the C's are on the way up, man. Right, the Celtics are on the way up. They're trending in the upward direction, and the Lakers are doing the exact opposite. They have fallen off a cliff as of late, and with all the moves that they made in the offseason, GM LeBron there making all those moves in the offseason. I had a fit like it was almost a matter of time before this happened, before literally the wheels fell off and just like everything fell apart. It was only a matter of time before it happened. I just, what do you think they're done? You think they make the play? Do you think they're done?
I mean, done in terms. I'm not sure. Done in terms of a title shot. If they make the dance, they got a shot because I guess LeBron can pull a series. You know, he can go into the time machine and try to pull some magic off, but it's not likely. I'd say in terms of winning a championship that they're done. Will they make the playoffs? Probably, because everybody gets in the playoffs in the NBA. They're down to the top 10 teams get a shot or something, you know. I don't think they're done, but I'm glad they're struggling. And this is what happens. You have LeBron be a GM. You're not a freaking GM, LeBron. You're a player. Get on the court. Listen to the coach. You're also not the coach, right? You're out there calling the plays. He tries to do everything. He's like Jerry Jones, but on the basketball floor. LeBron is the Jerry Jones of the NBA. He's on the floor. He's trying to call all the shots, and it blows up in his face. Now, here's the plus side. The good side is when LeBron comes to your team, you're probably going to get at least one championship ring early on, maybe more than one. However, when LeBron is done with your team and on to the next thing, it's like a new girlfriend. Oh, check that chick out. See you guys. And when he leaves town to be with his new fling, he leaves the whole team and organization in complete shambles. They got veterans on high money contracts. They got a bunch of players that are about to retire because all the veterans jump on to go chase the ring. And then it blows up in the end every time. And I can't wait to watch it blow up in LA. I just can't wait. It's like watching a car accident of people that you hate. You know, not like a deadly one, like, you know, maybe a little fender bender between two guys you don't like.
a little karma coming back, right? Yeah,
that's right.
But like we all could see this like when they brought Westbrook along, like it was,
oh god,
it was gonna happen. At some point, this was going to fall apart on them. And it's like the age on that team, me and JD had talked about it in a previous episode. The age on that team was at some point going to get them. The NBA season's a long season. And guys like that age, if you don't manage them right, you're going to be toast by the time you get to where when you need guys to be healthy and at 100%, they're going to be nowhere close to it. And it's going to end up being your downfall. And the Lakers were the oldest team in the league. When you have the whole team like that, one or two veterans in the locker room to like steady the ship and like make sure everybody's cool. And, like one or two guys like that on the older side are fine, because that's every team needs it. You need those veterans to keep the young kids stable and on track, to keep the rookies and the young kids on track. But when your whole team is like that, you're going to get tired quick. and they're just wearing out, dude. You look at them, they're done. I've watched a few Laker games now, and they're done by the third quarter. They got nothing left.
They're down 19-2 the other night. Started the game off on a losing streak. If you're going to be ready to go freaking turn the ship around, and they're down 19-2 in the blink of an eye. LeBron's looking like a little schoolgirl out there, all frustrated, yelling at everybody. You know what? You put this team together, LeBron, so you're gonna pay the price now and be on that sinking ship. You can't even jump off that ship right now. You're stuck on it, and I can't wait to watch it. Just
yeah, he's the one who suggested all of it. He's the one who pushed for the guys.
Yeah, Rob Pelinka wouldn't trade that 2026 first round pick because he was just like, no, LeBron, you're not going to be here in 2026. Like, you're not going to be here in 2026. Like, there's no way. So like they're not going to trade that pick. They're not going to mortgage 5 years into the future. That doesn't make any sense. And LeBron thinks that, everyone will always say yes to me, whatever I need. Well, dude, you're almost 40, so people are not going to do that anymore. And if they do, they're crazy. So, and that's the thing. He's the one who messed this up.
He's the wannabe GOAT. He ain't the GOAT. He's the wannabe GOAT. He wants to be the GOAT so bad, but he's just a wannabe GOAT, and he'll never be the real GOAT.
He thought that Russell Westbrook could kind of carry the load for him in the regular season, so he could kind of just relax. And like in reality, he could have had one of the top 10 shooters in the league in Buddy Hield. And then if he wanted to have a good season, he could have had an MVP type of season. But he's lazy, man. He's in Hollywood. He wants to make movies, and he's kind of on the downward trend. He wants other people to carry him. AD can't stay healthy, and that's kind of what he banked on. He banked on them just like having good players. Carmelo Anthony is a good player. Like, no disrespect to him at all, but like, he looks slow out there. He just simply looks slow. All of them do. Ariza looks slow. Everybody it just doesn't look good. It's kind of sad. It reminds me of the Lakers of like Gary Payton and Karl Malone, like 2005 or whatever it was.
When they were way past their prime, and it's just like, you look at them and they're like, dude, you just can't play anymore. You just don't have it. You look at them and you're like, you just don't got it, man. Like, they're out there and they're trying, but you could tell like there's just nothing left in the tank.
LeBron plays GM the way a 5-year-old kid plays GM in franchise mode in NBA 2K. That's what LeBron does. He'll sign all the big names for high money, not realizing that the cliff is near, and that cliff argument that LeBron and the Lakers are about to hit that cliff, and the Celtics are ascending. So it's a great time to be a Celtics fan.
Hey, anytime the Lakers fail is a good time.
It's like a win.
So let's switch sports up here, guys, and we'll switch it up to the NFL, and let's talk NFL free agency. And it's been wild, man. There's been a lot of big names that have moved around this year. JD, I want to get some of your thoughts so far. So let's talk Chicago. Let's talk Chicago. You guys have a new regime in place.
Yes. And people
have a new regime in place, man. What do you I just want to get your like initial thoughts on that. What do you think they'll be able to restore, the Bears' glory, or what do you think?
I found it very interesting what they did right away, which was trade Khalil Mack. So that was a big deal. Obviously, he was our franchise linebacker that we got, but I suggested we trade Khalil Mack. What was it? 12 weeks ago or something.
Yeah,
I thought that was a good idea
a long time ago that they should move him.
Yeah, and the reason is because we need to spend money elsewhere. We can't be spending money too much on pass rush. It looks like we're switching to a 3-4 because we signed the Cincinnati Bengals nose tackle.
Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting. We're no longer going to be a linebacker. Well, it'll just be different basically. So Roquan Smith is now the guy. Max out, Smith's the guy, and we're just going to kind of build young. I like it. What I think we need to focus on the draft. Like, if the draft is everything next month, isn't it next month? I believe. Yeah, next month.
Yes. It's April.
Yes, it is. It's next month. Yep.
Yeah, that's everything. Like, if we can secure 3 to 4 linemen and then maybe one more free agent lineman and kind of rebuild this offensive line, I think we can really give Justin Fields a serious shot to see if he's the guy. And I like that Ryan Poles addressed that. He did say that offensive line was the biggest problem with our team. So that's something I'm excited about. We'll see what happens, though. We'll definitely see what happens in the draft. So I'm excited to see that. At least we have an identity now. We know what we're doing going forward.
I think they've done a pretty good job over there. The move, the Khalil Mack move, tells me that they're trying to free up money and availability. Like they need to. Justin Fields is their future, and they need to do what they need to do to give that kid as much of a chance as success, because he was running for his life last year when he started. That Chicago offensive line was terrible. You can't put a rookie quarterback in a situation like that and expect him to do well. That's how you ruin a kid. You know, you throw his timing off. You got to give him a fair shot. So I hope, like you said, Jody, I hope their goal is to go out and get him some weapons and to get him a line in front of him so he can actually, work, because the talent's there. The kids definitely got talent. There's no question about that. It's just, you got to put him in a spot to succeed.
Yeah, give him a chance, give him a chance out there. What do you think, Birdman?
I was biting my tongue after you said a certain thing there, JD, which is, you said the Bears would be all right if you just got about 3 or 4 offensive linemen. There's only 5 freaking offensive linemen to begin with, so you need a whole new offensive line.
I know.
That's all you need. That's not like this.
You're right.
If you could said,
it's
all
order.
1 or 2, but you have 4 or 5 offensive linemen. Good Lord. I think the Bears.
Truth, though.
Who did you get back for Mac? I don't remember who they got back.
2 draft picks.
Like how high a picks?
Second and the 6th. Nobody. He has a huge contract, so nobody's gonna. Yeah.
It was a money move. They were trying to free that money up. They were trying to get rid of that money.
They're in a rebuild. I think they have to clear the deck, which is clearly what they're doing with this move here. You're going to clear the deck for the Trey Lance era. The Khalil Mack was an era that never was. He came there his first year. It looked promising, and then their offense really tanked. The defense was good. It was top-notch defense, but the offense didn't hold up its end of the bargain. So now they've aborted. They're going to a complete rebuild. I do it in my Madden franchise all the time. I start trading my veterans with the high contracts for future draft picks, and it sucks for a year or two. But if you hit on the draft picks, then that's the wild card. If you don't hit on the draft picks, what did you do? You gave away Khalil Mack. But if you hit on the draft picks, now you got off a big contract, opened up some room to fill some other areas for the 4 offensive linemen that you say you need. So I think they're in rebuild mode, which is where they need to be. They need to usher in the Justin Fields era.
Yeah, and it's nice. Well, it's, as a Bears fan, as a hardcore Bears fan, honestly, the Bears are my favorite franchise, period. Like they're my favorite team of any franchise or any sport. Like, I care about the Bears. I live and die with the Bears when it comes to football season. It's nice for once in my life to actually feel like we have a quarterback that we actually are going to move on. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe, we've had this feeling before where we get teased and tricked and we think this guy's a guy, but he's not really. And
talking about Trubisky?
Yeah, Trubisky and Cutler too, for sure. Like, we thought Cutler was good for a while, and he wasn't. After 3 years, we realized, he's not the guy. And even though they kept him on for 8 years, that was just a mess. But then Trubisky for 2 years. But Trubisky, that's the thing. Trubisky wasn't even that bad. He just wasn't elite. He wasn't gonna win. He wasn't Josh Allen or Mahomes. And Fields he's a big kid. He's like 6'4". He's strong. He's really accurate down the field. That's something that the Bears have never had. We don't have down the field accurate quarterbacks. Like, that's we have like game managers and gunslingers, and we've never had a guy who can hit a guy in a dime pass. That's something special.
Brady, Drew Brees.
Deshaun Watson, Brady, Fields, those type of dime passing type of guys. That's the thing, though.
Got after. Why would you go after Deshaun Watson?
I mean, we almost did. Well, the thing is, I was screaming Deshaun Watson for the Trubisky draft back in 2017. Man, that was so
Yeah,
long ago.
because
I was
he was with.
screaming.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I was like, Deshaun Watson, we have to get him. And I was even thinking Mahomes because we had no idea how good Mahomes was going to be. But like, I did not want Trubisky at all. And then we got him, and it was okay, but it wasn't very good. Fields is something. Deshaun Watson would have been like, I don't know why we didn't get him. I feel like it's just because we have just Justin Fields now, and he wasn't available before we drafted Justin Fields, which is.
Would you be okay to get rid of Justin Fields to bring in Deshaun Watson if that's what it took?
No, because this is the only reason, because we have a crappy offensive line anyway. So Deshaun Watson would suck anyway. I feel like. I mean, I feel like Tom Brady would suck.
I don't think it matters what quarterback you put behind that offensive line. It could be, even some of the greats. Like, they're still gonna.
Yeah.
If there's no offensive line in front of your quarterback, they're gonna be miserable. They're gonna be miserable.
There was, especially the tackles, and one of the guards was just Myles Garrett. What did he had 7 sacks in that one game?
It was
just it was just a clinic. He was just destroying. He was like, get over here, sack. You know,
wow,
it's
7.
Yeah, like 7 or 6, something like that.
So let's talk one of the big names that moved this offseason. Let's talk Russ Wilson.
Oh yeah. Oh wow.
That
was crazy.
Traded from the Russell Wilson traded from the Seattle Seahawks to the Denver Broncos. Now, I'm going to start with, Birdman there is a Niner fan, and you got to be happy because now, that's less competition. That's less competition for the Niners. Yeah, so what do you think, man?
I think it's a great day in the life of the Birdman as a sports fan, because that's another great thing there is Russell Wilson, who even last year the Seahawks had a terrible year, and he still managed to beat us late in the year, which almost cost us a playoff berth. I hate Russell Wilson because he was our rival, and he was on a big winning streak against the 49ers. He wins more than he loses against us. I'm very happy to see Russell Wilson gone. I did wear my Kyle Shanahan outfit with the headphones and the flat brim. This is my best Shanahan impression. I guess I have to tuck the chain, and I'll be Kyle Shanahan out there in Santa Clara calling the game. But I couldn't be happier to watch Russell Wilson go. I think he's an idiot for going to the AFC West. Now you're the 3rd best team, maybe the 4th in that division. I don't see them making a Super Bowl run. They might make a wild card run, but that's it.
No, true. But it also leaves that division, that West Coast division, wide open. It leaves it wide, like that division's anybody's game now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean that is
the Niners clearly have like. So I want to stick with the Niners too, right? I want to stick with the Niners. So I'll ask JD first, and then I'll go to you, Danny. Do you think Jimmy stays in San Fran, or do they move him? What do you think the fate of Jimmy Garoppolo?
Last I heard, he needs another surgery, so I think he stays if he needs another surgery. But here's the thing. That just gives people an excuse to see how good Trey Lance is. And then here's what happens. So you don't play Jimmy. It's actually really awesome if you're the 49ers, because the 49ers kind of win on this. You don't play Jimmy, but you kind of make them compete maybe in the preseason or something like that. You make him compete. You keep Jimmy's contract. You make them compete in the offseason, or in the training camp, basically. And you say that Trey Lance won, whether he did or not. You just say he did. And then you start Trey Lance, and you see how good he is. And if he's good after 5 weeks, then you trade Jimmy Garoppolo. And the last time people saw Jimmy Garoppolo, his value will only go up because he competed with Trey Lance, but Trey Lance is good. So they just kept Trey Lance. It's kind of like Alex Smith. You get value back. But that's what I would like to see. I don't know what will happen. I just don't think you're going to get much for him if he's just having surgery. And I don't think the Niners want to sell him for nothing. So anyway, what do you think, Birdman?
What do you think, being the resident 49er fan?
I'll tell you what, if I'm going to just speak right from the heart, and honestly, about the 49ers, I've seen some videos that were going around the YouTube world where Trey Lance wasn't looking too good with his accuracy in practice. They're very concerning videos. I know it's just practice. He's there to get better, and he's a young player. I'll tell you what, you give up all the picks you did to get a guy like that, you put that kind of pressure on the kid, and now you got Jimmy G. Is he staying? Is he going? Is his shoulder hurt? Can we trade him? Can we not trade him? It's a mess. I'll tell you what, it's not a great position to be in. I don't think as a fan, I wouldn't be envious of our position at all. Yeah, Jimmy G with a bum shoulder kills his trade value. The last vision in people's heads of Jimmy G was him doing a backwards flick for a game-losing interception.
That's true.
With a chance to go to the Super Bowl on the line. It was the last nail in the coffin. A classic Jimmy G turnover at the most inopportune moment, which is classic Jimmy G. Get Jimmy G out of town. I don't care if it's for a 7th-round pick. I don't care if you get back a 6-pack. And I haven't drank alcohol in almost 6 years, and I would take a 6-pack for Jimmy G to offer my guests when they came over. I want Jimmy G out, and I want to see what the kid Trey Lance has, because we put ourselves in this position. So let's see what the kid has.
It's only fair.
I'm kind of with Birdman. Like I wouldn't mind moving on from Jimmy. Like if this shoulder is bad, if it's bad, you need to move him now, because his value is just going to do this. Exactly. If it's bad.
Yeah, people will wonder if he's ever healthy again. You have the Chad Pennington situation. You never know with shoulders, especially throwing shoulders. So
we just freaking lowball. We a lowball offer to Deebo Samuel, right? And we're out here. We need to get rid of Jimmy G, because I free up the cap money and pay Deebo whatever dollar amount Deebo wants. I don't give a damn what Deebo wants. We need to give him whatever check he's looking for. And if that means Jimmy G packs his bags, man, if I was Deebo, I'd help Jimmy G pack them.
No, I'm with you there, because Deebo, when Mozart got hurt last year, and he's good, man. When he got hurt, that crushed you guys. But Deebo stepped up huge, dude. Like, you put him in the backfield as a running back, as a tailback, like he could do it all. Like he showed that, like you said, like you got the versatility alone just earns him the money.
Yeah, no reason to upset your star wide receiver. He's not even a like a diva type. He's not like a Chad Ochocinco diva. Like, he's a team player and a team leader. He's not like a big diva wide receiver. A guy like that deserves his money, and don't take his niceness and leadership as weakness and not pay him, and then go blow the money on other investments that might not pan out. I say Deebo has to stay long term. You got to put Trey Lance in there to see what he's got, because it's shit or get off the pot time for Trey Lance. If he can play, great. If he can't, we got to find, it could take a decade to find a freaking quarterback like the last time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Quarterback's the toughest spot to find on the field. It is. The guy is a field general. It's the most involved. It's the most involved position on the field. Not only do you identify the defensive coverage for your wide receivers and for yourself, but you're calling out the defensive, the line coverage as well for the offensive line. So you got to recognize, what blitzes are up front, if there's one, how they're going to, it's the toughest spot on the field. It's not easy to find those like top 10, top 8, top 6. It's not, that's not an easy task at all.
No
so
doubt.
when you get them, you gotta, when you have the opportunity to get them, you gotta get them.
Bears have been looking for 60 years.
Yeah, 60.
Yeah,
60 since Sid Luckman. Really, he's the last time that the Bears were had a top 5 quarterback. Was Sid Luckman. And how many Super Bowls do you win without a top 5 quarterback? Not that many.
No,
I can only think of a couple of teams throughout my lifetime, which would be the Tampa Bay Bucks when I was in high school, or maybe I just graduated 2003. I think the Tampa Bay with Keyshawn Johnson and Mike Allstott. They had Brad Johnson at quarterback. He wasn't a top tier name, but the defense was top tier. Yeah. And then of course the Baltimore Ravens team, where they had not only Flacco win one, they also had that other bum win one too. He was even worse than Flacco.
Trent Dilfer.
Even Jim McMahon, really.
Trent Dilfer, yeah.
Jim McMahon, he's on the list.
Yeah.
Look at the quality of defense you need to overcome an average quarterback is you have to have an all-time defense.
It's insane.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Yeah, no. It's like you said, like the talent to like that talent ratio to overcome bad quarterback play. You literally have to have like an all Madden D, like the 2000 Ravens and the, and the 2003 and that Buccaneers D. Like it was
85 Bears, yeah.
Yeah, you got to have like a D like the 80, like one of those all-time great defenses to do it, because the quarterback is that important. And you got to, like, it's not, that's
And
not
think of
an
all the
easy
great
task.
quarterbacks who like never win Super Bowls too,
Yeah,
because they never have
yeah,
a good D. It's crazy. The game's, it takes everything.
it does. It does. So let's talk. What do you, I want to ask you, get you guys' thoughts on, let's talk Tom Brady. Let's talk Tom Brady. Brady coming back for his 23rd season after retiring originally in the offseason. So he spent a month and a half with his kids and Giselle and was like, fuck that, I'm coming back.
Basically.
I don't know, man. So as a Patriot fan, I cut, like, when he retired from the Bucs, I was hoping that he would stay away for good, and that would be his legacy. 7 Super Bowls right off into the sunset. It's like, if you weren't planning to retire, then don't make all these announcements and the Instagram posts thanking everybody and all that crap. Just say, I haven't made my mind up yet. Like, this is, whoever leaked this is wrong. Like, just say that. Say you're wrong. It's not true. It's not happening. I still haven't made my mind up. Instead, he just, I don't know, he went with it or did whatever, and now he's back. I still have a lot of respect for the guy, but I did lose a little bit for that. Because, like, if you're going to retire, because it's a risk to me, right? It's a risk. What happens if he comes back and, like, and I don't think he's going to suck, but, like, what happens if he comes back and they get to the second round of the NFC title game again and they fall short again? What if they get beat again? What then? What are you going to do then? Come back again?
Mean, he's extending his, he's kind of making all of his records almost unbreakable. Like, so I understand that part of it. You're kind of Wayne Gretzkying the sport, like just kind of just make it undeniable at this point. And who doesn't want to ride off into the sunset, with a Super Bowl win, number 8. I mean, at this point, you're just chasing, like, you're lapping the greatest of all time. At this point, you're like having 2 greatest of all time careers. So it's pretty awesome. And I think that the thing that made me think, because I kind of, like, I've been paying attention to Brady for a while, and I know I feel like I know him a little bit, understanding like what he wants in this stage of his career. I feel like respect and praise is like more worth millions of dollars for him. Like, if you give him respect and praise, he loves it, and he likes when you give him like that status, basically. And right when he retired, the media was asking, what's his name? Bruce Arians, all these questions. Oh, Brady, if he comes back, are you going to trade him for, if he wants to play in San Fran or something like that? All these stupid questions they were asking him and stuff. And, he would not say that. He's like, no, we would never let him do that. We love Brady. He's so vital to our situation and all that stuff. These words that Belichick never said, you know what I mean? Like, maybe there was a discussion between Bruce and Tom, like, hey, man, like, if you wouldn't mind coming back one more year, like, I got all these expiring contracts next year. We can make one more run at this thing. Like, let's try. So I think that's what, and also look at their division. Their division is crap.
It's awful. They're going to win the division
so bad.
again.
Yeah, they're going to win the division for sure.
Alone.
So they got all these expiring contracts. They're going to win the division. I mean,
I think the guy is I think he needs a 12-step program. He's addicted to football. He's addicted to winning.
He is.
He's addicted to the spotlight, and he's addicted to the NFL lifestyle. He's been in it for so long. I was a senior in high school, his first Super Bowl. I'm 38 years old. He's still winning Super Bowls. And it's the most mind-blowing thing ever. He clearly has a problem. There may be some type of 12-step program that Giselle and the family could do an intervention. Say, hey, Tom. Tom's there like, hey, I thought we were going to freaking the restaurant. It's his family there. Like, Tom, you have a problem. You need to stop playing football. He clearly has some unresolved addiction issues going on, and he didn't even make it. It's not even preseason yet. He didn't even miss a practice yet. He didn't miss anything. So you didn't even really retire. Yeah.
No, he didn't.
No, he really didn't. No.
he retired for his wife. His wife wanted him to retire, so he said, "Fine, honey, I'll do it." And he's probably getting an argument. "Fine, you want me to retire? Fine, I'll retire." And he did. Like when he gets an argument, and then he retired and he's home. And he's not going to football practice. And he's not hanging out with the boys like he's used to. And his wife's probably in the other room freaking nagging him in Brazilian or in Portuguese, right? And he figured, hell, I'm better off on the field. I'm a NFL addict to begin with. So I think it's unresolved addiction shit.
No, it's funny though, because we had talked about that too, where like it's like his father had said, like in the documentary, in the Man in the Arena,
yep,
like he's worried about like what Tom is going to do after football, because he doesn't know, like this is all he's known for 20 years, like 20 over 20 years now.
And he's absolutely obsessed. So it's like, I think he loves football more than Michael Jordan loved basketball. You know what I mean? Like he loves the competition.
He's chasing the dragon at this point, Tom. You're never going to catch it. If you win another Super Bowl, you don't think you're going to want another one after that? Are you kidding me? I mean, to Tom, winning Super Bowls is like doing cocaine, But
it's just like
it's a good analogy.
Well, that's true, because it's like
one more.
That's also true though, because it's like
just one more.
But you know what I mean? It's like that's also, but that's an interesting perspective too, though, because it's like if he does win this year, does he be like, will he sit back and be like, well, I got 8. Maybe we should just go for 9 and 10,
He's going to want 10. At that point, if he wins this year, he'll try to play until he's 50, which he said before. And he's going to try to win 10 if he wins this year. If he loses,
that'd be something.
He's going to have a rough detox at home next year. But if he wins, he might be able to try again and again until someone takes him out.
Not to be an enabler. I don't want to enable addictions or anything. But here's the thing. He led the league in passing yards, touchdowns.
He did have a beast year, though.
And passing yards per game. So if it's not he might be addicted to football, but if he's still playing a top 5 quarterback, he's still in the top 5 for quarterbacks at 44, going on 45. If he's still one of the best quarterbacks in the league, why wrap it up now? Like, I do understand, like, okay, when is it enough? There's no, for him, clearly you're right. He's addicted. It'll never be truly enough. But at the same time, it's like, if I'm at the top of my game still, I could play in Florida. Why not? And I don't know. It seems like they put guys around him, like they have quarterbacks around him, or rather pieces around him to win. So they still have Wirfs. They have a lot of good players. I don't know. I understand why he's coming back. I really do. I get it.
I could see both sides of it. I can definitely see both sides of it. I wasn't expecting that. I thought for sure when he said he was done, he was done.
I thought that last year pissed him off too much.
Because Giselle, you had said that you don't think he's come. You had said that you thought there's a possibility he came back, but I thought for sure. I thought he was done. I thought that was it. He's got nothing else to prove. It's just,
he does.
And he came back.
He just wants to keep going.
We got a fun little segment coming up here, and
hell yeah.
To just plug my dude's channel down there for a second, guys. It's if you're interested in just some wild stories and just listening to what the lifestyle of being involved in that my dude is in recovery. He's beating his addiction and is winning the battle. So the name of his channel is Birdman Drug Stories, and it's basically the chronicles of what went down in his previous life, and just telling you the experiences and the how what it was like living like that. And it's an interesting listen, man. It really is. It's some of the stories are wild too. They're funny. They're a good listen. Throw that on and just ride in your car and just listen to my dude talk. It's wild, but it just goes to show you where he's at now and where he was, and it's inspiring, man. And it's a good story. I'll at the end of this, I'm gonna copy and paste his link and put it in the chat in the comments. So if you guys go over there and just click that link and go check him out, it's a good watch. It's a good listen. It's a good watch. But
thank you, Bobby.
This was no problem, man. This one's inspired by my man Birdman Drug Stories. We're gonna call this one "What in the World Are You Smoking?" Right? So let's start off.
Segment. Well, what were they smoking? Which is, Bobby, you want to lay down the idea? For the people?
So this is going to be. We're gonna dive into some of the wildest and what we think is the most outrageous overpays and stupid moves in the NFL season. So we're gonna start off with the Dallas Cowboys trading Amari Cooper. Now, I don't have a problem with them moving Cooper. They were gonna. So here's where my problem lies, and then I'll ask you two gentlemen what you think. I don't have a problem with them moving him, but you got to get something back, right? And they got a fifth and a sixth round pick. That's like Amari Cooper for a bent paper clip and a bag of chips. Stupid. Like you know how you move a guy like Amari Cooper? You go to like the freaking Jaguars and you hose them and you take everything they got from them. Like, I want 2 seconds and a first. You ain't getting shit unless you get that. You know what I mean? Like, you go to a crappy team and you just absolutely hose them for them. That's how you do it. But they just to let their like one of their best receivers for the year go like for nothing. Idiot move. It just like, what are they doing down in D-Town? Danny, what do you think?
I mean, clearly, I'm going to say Dallas. Dallas is right near that southern border, so it could be anything they're smoking on down there, boy. You never know what they could be smoking on down in Dallas. That's too close to the border. But who can tell? They're obviously smoking some potent stuff. They're careful. Whatever they are smoking is obviously strong, because you took your number one wide receiver, a proven guy, right? Yeah, he makes a lot of money, but you knew that when you gave him the money, right? It's not a surprise he's making money. You gave him that money. It was your contract that you're paying him. And then you traded him, Bobby. They traded him not for a fifth and a sixth. That's what I thought too at first. No. It's way worse than that. They traded Amari Cooper and a sixth round pick. So they sent out Amari in a sixth, and they got back a single fifth round pick. 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth round pick. Are you freaking kidding me? And you gave up a sixth round pick. They were smoking some strong shit. They're lucky they didn't overdose after that move. Oh, and Randy Gregory left town too. So Dallas is completely in the toilet. Like I said, it's a great day to be a fan of my teams right now. And the Lakers being in the toilet, and Dallas is starting to sink like they always do. I love it.
What do you think, JD?
My opinion is that of Valhalla in the chat. There really isn't. I mean, as much as like, I do think that it was a terrible trade, and it obviously looks terrible on paper. There's really nothing that they could have gotten for him. It's kind of like the Khalil Mack situation, where you make so much money, you take so much out of the cap that like your value is diminished, and you're such a premium contract that it costs so much just to keep you. And here's the thing about linebackers and wide receivers is their supply does not, or rather their demand does not overwhelm their supply. There's way too much supply. There's too many good wide receivers to pay. There's too many good linebackers to pay. So as much as Cooper is a proven guy, and you would think he's worth at least a first round pick or a second round pick or something like that.
I would say they should have been able to get a second for him. They should have been. They should have been able to get a second for him.
Yeah, and I think
even with the contract. I know it's a big money contract,
Browns.
right? I know it's a huge money contract, but they should have at least been able to get a second or a third. A fifth is like, come on, man.
But draft picks, the NFL is, not for long and everything like that. And skill positions, it feels like there's more running backs and tight ends being used these days. So there's a lot of, so that basically the good wide receivers, the cream rises to the top faster for the good wide receivers. And when they get paid, then they're just this premium, like luxury vehicle that you don't really, if you use it, great, but if you don't use it, that it's kind of like the Packers right now with Devontae Adams. The Packers want to upgrade their defense because they lost some guys, but if they pay Devontae Adams, they're screwed. They can't pay him because then they can't upgrade anything on defense, and they'll just be stuck winning the division and getting knocked out early because their defense sucks every single year. So it really is crappy like that. It's tough. And there's a lot of good wide receivers. That's another thing. A lot.
Hey, JD, so what were the Cowboys smoking on?
Oh, I mean, at least a little bit of crack. I mean, something. Something. I don't know exactly what type of crack, but something.
It's not good. Whatever it is, it's not good.
It ain't good. South of the border, at least.
They caused the cracks in it.
Cracks in it.
So let's move on. Next on the list is a dude that I absolutely hate, Aaron Rodgers.
Ooh.
I hate that dude.
Me too.
I
don't
hate
him, but
Aaron Rodgers.
I hate him.
So the Green Bay, and here's why we say, what are you smoking on that one? Because you just paid him $50 million. Did you forget about Devontae Adams? Like, did you forget about Devontae's going to want huge money to stay? So what are they going to pay? Are they going to pay Devontae Adams and Rodgers a massive contract? Dude, that's going to be 40% of the cap. You know what I mean? That'll be 40% of the cap. They're not going to be able to do if they pay those two. If they pay Devontae Adams too, the same fate is going to happen to them. They're going to mow through people in the regular season. They're going to get to the second round or the NFC title game, and they're going to lose again. Like they're just it goes to show you too that it goes to show a couple of things. First is they have no faith in Jordan Love. None. Since they gave Aaron Rodgers this money, they have no faith in that kid at all. They know he's cooked, and they have no plan after him. Like they better do something in a hurry because this year is probably about it. You know what I mean? Like Rodgers probably going to play for 2 more seasons. And what are you going to do at quarterback after that? You're going to fall into QB purgatory, and like you're going to have a crappy defense and a bad quarterback with like, that's not good. What do you think?
You want to go first, Birdman?
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Oh, you said you had a passionate one. JD, take the floor on now. This is your division.
Oh yeah, that's true. Okay. Well, yeah, I would say that my react with this one is that Rodgers is all talk. He's not a leader. He's all talk. He's not willing to put his money where his mouth is. He says one thing and does another. He's on Pat McAfee talking about being a hippie and, all peace and love and freedom and whatever, all this crap. But he really can't even sacrifice, $10 to $12 million off his contract, even though he's made at least $300 million and he owns part of the Bucks and he makes all these other deals. He has this State Farm deal. He makes all this money being a huge celebrity, but he can't even give Devontae Adams some of his contract. Do you know how many times Tom Brady gave players some of his contract just to like $2 or $3 million, $3 or $4 million there? So many times that like Brady probably lost $120 million over the course of his career. And Rodgers talks about, we just got to make sure that we can sign all our guys. We got to make sure everyone is taken care of and stuff like that. It's like, dude, you've been taken care of like 4 times and you still want to be paid more than everyone else. No, Rodgers is fake. That's what I would say. Rodgers is a fake. He's fake to the media. He's really fake. He says one thing and does a complete other. He does the complete opposite. Douche.
All right. I think he was on some type of ayahuasca trip or something like that personally, because he alluded, I'm not being ridiculous. I'm only being a little bit ridiculous because he went away to cleanse his soul or some shit.
Probably
was. Listen, Birdman Drugstores in the building. That is ayahuasca talk. That's what people do. And he's a rich man. He can go to the jungle at the Amazon and have some ayahuasca legally in another continent and cleanse his system. And he came back, he made a decision. All he did is he went out, cleansed his system, got high as a kite, came back, still had no decision. Went on Pat McAfee to say he still had no decision. Then he signed a $50 million, $60 million a year contract. Listen, if you thought LeBron James was a bad general manager and a bad GM, Aaron Rodgers might be freaking worse. He got that wide receiver last year, some Randall Cobb from like 1996 back on the team, and he wants to give Devontae Adams all this money, and he wants to take all this money. So the team's going to be Devontae Adams, Rodgers, and that guy Cobb from last year, and they just released their best defensive player, one of their best defensive players, that linebacker, Zadarius Smith. He got cut yesterday. So Aaron Rodgers is a terrible general manager, and he's out of the school of LeBron wanting to be the GM. Aaron Rodgers wants to be the GM. I'll tell you what, you're both pretty terrible GMs.
Also, here's another thing I don't mean to interrupt you, Bobby. Let me say one more thing to add on to that.
Go ahead.
Rodgers is the reason. Here's the thing that I think the Packers are screwing themselves, because the fact of the matter is Rodgers is the reason why they lost against the Niners. He's the reason.
Mm-hmm.
It was no one else. He did not play up to par. It was not the defense. It was not the coaching. It was not anything else. You could argue it was against the Bucs the year prior, but no. That was Rodgers. He choked under pressure. He felt the pressure from the Niners, and he couldn't. Once they took away Adams, it was a wrap. So, if anything, I wouldn't give Rodgers Adams. I'd trade Adams. I'd be like, oh, no. You're the big money, man. Win with these rookies. So, yeah, no, I don't. I agree. That's crap.
They're in trouble. The pack is in trouble, man. They the next two seasons, after the next 2 years, they're done. They're cooked.
Hell yeah.
That division's going to be between the Bears and the Vikings. Seriously, it will be.
The only way that the Packers could win a freaking Super Bowl is if they change the rules to the old school college football rules where people vote for the best, most talented team. That's the only way the Packers are going to win a title, is if they go to those rules where they win the popularity contest, because every year they're the number one team and a big contender, and every year I watch them choke and shit the bed in the playoff time and go nowhere. And it's a recurring theme. I got a friend back home that's a Packers fan. He blocked me on Facebook after last year's game. What's up, Brian?
So let's do the last one here. I got one more for you guys. And this is another team that is absolutely hosed at the quarterback position. Absolutely hosed. Roethlisberger gone for the Steelers, and they go out. So the Steelers signed Mitch Trubisky, right? Now, this is why this is an idiot move, right? Here's why I think this is an idiot move. He's no better than what you already have. So, why are you going to waste money and go improve your offensive line with that? Just roll with Duck Hodges and Haskins. They're no better or no worse than Trubisky. And you save that money and you actually fill a need somewhere else. It was that's a mind-boggling.
I would take Trubisky over those guys.
Would you really?
Yeah, I would. Because he can be a consistent passer. The problem with him is he needs a good running game, a good offensive line, and good wide receivers. But he can be a consistent passer. I haven't seen anything from what's his dick? Mason Rudolph.
Rudolph can throw the football too.
Yeah, but he's not he's not consistent, and he can't move. Trubisky can move around, so he's not the best quarterback, but I don't know. Trubisky reminds me of Tyrod Taylor a little bit. He's not the guy, but he's a guy. He's something. He's not trash. He's a good player.
This reminds me of Tim Tebow with better accuracy.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, that's a good comparison. He's Tim Tebow, but he's actually accurate with the football. Yeah.
A little bit more accurate than Tim Tebow. I definitely would not classify Trubisky as an accurate passer out of the pocket. Not yet.
And Rudolph has a nice arm, but they don't need a nice arm. They just need someone to run an offense and not suck. That's pretty much all the Steelers need. But I mean, I know what you mean. They're smoking a little bit. You know what I mean? That's not.
Yeah, it's
come
on, man.
It's not the guy. It's definitely not the answer.
The next 2 or 3 seasons in the NFL are going to be really interesting because there's a lot of these teams with no quarterback, they're hosed. They're hosed if they don't figure it out.
The Panthers, what the hell? I'm in Charlotte. What the hell are the Panthers gonna do? They got freaking Sam Darnold at quarterback. You think the fans down here want Sam Darnold? I'll tell you what. No, they don't.
I heard Deshaun Watson vetoed a trade he wouldn't go to Carolina. Isn't that crazy?
Go to
Like,
Atlanta.
why?
He wants to go to Atlanta. That's why he's got ties in Atlanta, more so than his Clemson ties near Carolina.
Really? Is that what it is?
He prefers to be in Atlanta. I heard this on the radio on my way to the doctor's appointment this morning.
That's crazy. I would just want to get out. I'd be like, get me anywhere. I don't care. I don't know.
They don't even know if he can play, so it's a big mess. They don't even know if he's going to be suspended. So his value, how much value are you going to want back for a guy that might get suspended for?
Wasn't he cleared though?
He was.
I guess you could still suspend him.
He was cleared of all charges, so he's good.
They could still suspend him for.
But the NFL can still suspend him. That's right.
Exactly.
That's right, Birdman. That's right. The NFL can still suspend him if they want to.
Yeah, if you like, the NFL, when there's abuse of women, these guys are out there like abusing their girlfriends, physically assaulting their girlfriends. The Ray Rice incident, a couple others come to mind. They might get what, 2 games, 3 games, 4 games. Then you got Tom Brady deflated some footballs allegedly, and they knocked him with what? How many games did he get?
4.
And you got Josh Gordon, smokes a little weed. He's been suspended for
indefinitely. Yeah.
Do a little ecstasy.
Yeah, the past 10 years, that guy's been suspended for smoking some weed. And the NFL, it's crazy how they throw the book at one guy and then they'll completely turn the blind eye to somebody else. It's I don't like to see that personally.
I don't either.
The inconsistency has been there, dude. It's been there for so long. It's like if you're gonna punish players, like you have to be like this is the standard. This is the standard. This is the punishment, and this is how it goes. And you like you were saying, Bird, like it's like you can't throw the book at somebody and then just be like, oh no, that didn't happen, and like you said, just look the other way on others. Like you gotta if you're gonna punish somebody, you gotta do it, fairly.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. The suspension, there's no rhyme or reason to it. It's pretty much like a autocracy, right? You got the commissioner, and what he says goes. And even though the court of law in the United States says that the case is dropped and you're presumed innocent, right? They could still suspend you for a year and cost you tens of millions of dollars if they feel like it, if they had a bad day that day, they're if Roger Goodell's mad at like his wife or something like that, and he's like, oh man, throw the book at Deshaun Watson, that jerk, right? I mean, there's no formula to how they come up with the actual suspensions and the amount of time. It's pretty disgusting and disturbing to see.
Yeah, dude. The inconsistency, it sucks. It does. It's no
Terrible.
good.
No, you're 100% right about that, Birdman.
But we all know Roger Goodell's smoking more than a little. He's smoking a lot with this suspension.
Smoking a lot of different shit.
He's all the way up.
He's got a Jeffrey.
Yeah. He's all the way up.
He's all the way up.
So
he's in Mars.
This is the part of the show, guys, where we take we're going to wind it down, but we're going to take about 10 or 15, probably 10 minutes here and take some whatever the chat wants to ask us. We'll take some questions from the chat and we'll hang out for about 10 minutes and then we'll call it. Once again, Birdman, thanks for coming on, man. It was a lot of fun. It's been a minute.
A lot of fun.
I'm back soon. My guy.
Hey, Cheerio, I see one of the people in the chat, Cheerio, subscribe to Birdman Drug Stories channel.
That's me.
And I just want to tell him I appreciate. Oh, that's you. Well, I appreciate that, JD. I can't believe you weren't already subscribed.
I was on I-90. I have 2 channels.
So he's got a few different ones. He's got the Cheerio one's a gaming channel.
Hey, sign me up for all of them. I gotta get to that 1,000
on both. Because I switched to my gaming channel.
You feel like pew pew afterwards?
Yeah, so I was about to. No joke. I was about to text you that right now. I swear. I was literally just about to text you. Want to play COD after this? Because I know Will wants to play. Do you want to play COD, Birdman? You play Call of Duty at all?
I'll tell you what. We did just get the internet upgrade here at our apartment, so my online gaming could be good. But I'll tell you what. I'm one of the worst Call of Duty players you've ever met. If I get a kill, like if I kill someone one time, I'm excited, like, oh my God, you see that? I killed someone. And I'll be like 3 kills and 40 deaths. I've never been good at I'm more of a sports gaming guy. I'm a FIFA connoisseur, Madden and NBA. When it comes to shooting games, I'm pretty terrible, man.
I definitely will play some Madden with you for sure. Are you on Xbox at all?
Yeah, Xbox.
Xbox, hell yeah. All right. Hell yeah. I'll have to get your information and stuff. I have you on Facebook, I'm pretty sure. So that's what's up.
I'll message you too.
Yeah, that'll be cool. Yeah, I'm totally down though. We play Warzone a lot. We sometimes, hey, what's up, Diesel? Damn, he's chilling, dude. What is he smoking?
Hey, did Bobby know that they named his cat after a street name for a illegal and deadly narcotic?
Strawberry Diesel, dude.
Not Strawberry Diesel. No, that's not deadly. No.
No, that's
Strawberry
amazing.
Diesel is not deadly and is amazing and safe. Diesel is a street term for H. So
really?
That's what the dealers would call it. Like, hey, I got that diesel, and they said if they had the diesel, you knew that your chances to die that day were going up because I'll tell you what, that Boston area, they got some really dangerous shit going around. The whole country, really.
Yeah, I wouldn't fuck with that shit.
Yeah, I'm very grateful. But yeah, let's take some comments here from the chat. I'm interested to see what they think.
But once again, guys, just to like, my dude here is trying to get to 1,000, and I promise you, if you go over there and just watch and listen to a few, they're wild, man, and it's a good time.
I'll subscribe on my other channel too, my third channel. Hell yeah, man.
So we'll take like a few minutes here. I know it's kind of in the middle of the day, so we might.
Whoa! No, I got Valhalla had a good one here. Dak wanted him God after he called him the Black Kirk Cousins. Is that actually?
Who said that?
Actually happened?
Dak. So Amari Cooper called Dak the Black Kirk Cousins.
Shut up.
Did he really?
When was this? When the hell was this?
It was in the locker room. It was a locker room issue. Yeah,
it's kind of true. I mean, if the shoe fits, wear it. It's not wrong.
I mean, it's not that far off from the truth, though. You know what I mean? Like,
is that such an insult?
But it's like they are kind of they are kind of similar.
Yeah.
Listen, I would say
Dak's a little bit better, but not by a lot.
Not by a lot. Nope.
Not by a lot. Why is everybody think? Okay, like Karam says he's way better than Kirk Cousins.
But here's the thing,
people
right?
Think Kirk Cousins isn't
just
good?
like Kirk Cousins crumbles in the playoffs.
They're
the same player.
Stop it! Everybody's a Pro Bowler.
I know, but I'm saying that he's not a bad player though. He's not.
No, not a good one.
Dak's not bad.
He's not that good. No, especially in the playoffs. He's not that good.
Dak's not bad, but it's just like it just seems like the Cowboys, it just seems like the Cowboys and the Vikings kind of just crumble when they need to play their best football, you know?
Crum says Cousins is a stat stuffer, dude. Okay, but how do you become a stat stuffer? How do you
get blown out and you're trying to come back and they're playing prevent defense?
Yeah,
I guess, but like I don't know. Like if the Bears had Kirk Cousins would be the best quarterback in the history of the Bears. Maybe my standards is lower. My standards are just lower for quarterbacks. Like I'm more desperate.
Cutler's better than Kirk Cousins. Cutler made it to
No, really? You think he was? I don't think he was. Dude, Cutler never threw for 4,000 yards.
It was a long time ago, man. The stats are crazy. They got an extra game to play with.
I'd take Cousins, man. I'd take Cousins. I like consistency. I mean,
when Cousins was rumored to San Francisco a couple of years ago because of the Shanahan connection in Washington, the Commanders. That's a whole other. What were they smoking, picking that name? But
yeah, for
anyways,
real.
Freaking. So with that connection with Kirk Cousins, we had been rumored to try to get Kirk Cousins. That is the last I wanted to.
You said that's the last one you wanted to quarterback your team?
Yeah.
He's a walking turnover machine. Sorry, I got kicked out.
He definitely isn't. He's not like gonna win you the Super Bowl, but he's not gonna lose it for you either, in my opinion. Like if you have a really good team, or if your team is even just like, also he doesn't make that much money anymore. He used to be a lot of money. Like $35 million used to be a crap load for a quarterback. Now it's like a $15 million discount. These days, 10 to 15 million. So he doesn't make that much money. Dak Prescott makes $41 million. So technically for the money, like if you compare Kirk Cousins for what he makes and Dak Prescott for what he makes, yeah, that's about the same value. Basically, I'm paying for about the exact same amount for like the performance versus the dollar. And like Cousins, and that's not a bad thing. They're productive. They're both very productive quarterbacks. Tony Romo was also a very productive quarterback. He wasn't going to lose you a Super Bowl, but he definitely wasn't going to win it for you either. Like, honestly, Tony Romo is a perfect example. Like, Dak Prescott, Tony Romo, and Kirk Cousins are very similar.
Well, what's up, NFC? What's up, buddy?
What up,
How
NFC?
you doing? But no, it's yeah, like they're comparable. You know what I mean? They're comparable.
They're good players, not
Yeah.
great. Never gonna dominate like Mahomes or Allen or Brady.
Yeah,
but they're good.
They're middle of the pack guys. They're middle of the pack guys, and they're not gonna get they're middle of the pack quarterbacks. That's where they're not elite, and they're not like horrible like the bottom third.
Yeah, they're definitely better than. Yeah, they're definitely better than the bottom third. They're all good. They're good. I would say Dak is a good quarterback. He could win a Super Bowl. So could Kirk Cousins. They could.
Is Kirk Cousins better than Joe Flacco was in Joe Flacco's prime a few years back, or whatever?
Well, that's the thing. His prime lasted for like 2 years.
I would say probably no. I would say Flacco was better than Cousins in his prime.
In his prime, yeah. In his prime. But then he fell off like so far.
He got paid.
The problem with Flacco was the fall off. Like it wasn't a gradual decline. It was just he was really good and then he was really bad.
Once he was making $30 million a year, he was like, "Peace, I don't care anymore."
Yeah.
If my job paid me $30 million, I'm not gonna lie. If my boss might be watching, my cousin, but hey, boss, if you paid me $30 million a year, I probably wouldn't be working very hard. Planning vacation and shit,
But gentlemen, I think that is going to wrap it up here for us in episode 28. Birdman, once again, buddy, good always to have you along, man. Been a minute. Good to have you back. Welcome back on the show.
Welcome back.
So once again, guys, my guy's trying to get to 1,000. His channel is a lot of fun. It's an interesting listen, and it gives you an insight into a whole different life, like a different life, and like because it's a complete 180 of what he's at right now. But it's just like you get to see like how far like down the rabbit hole that goes. And then like the like scratch and claw back to get his life back. You know what I mean? Like it's a journey, man. It's a journey. It's a good listen. So I'm going to put the link to his channel in the comments and go and listen, go and check it out. Leave him let him know I sent him over there. I sent you over there and just, it's good. It's a good channel.
If you got friends or family, anybody that's ever been affected with drug addiction, even if you yourself never were or are not a drug addict or an alcoholic, everybody knows somebody that's been affected by it. Everybody has a friend or family member or coworker. I mean, it's everywhere, and it's a real epidemic. So I started my channel because there was a pandemic that was unfolding with the pandemic, and there was also an epidemic going on with the drugs, and that's what gave me the idea to start my channel because it was a tough time for addicts to clean up or get clean or stay clean, and lots of people, the relapse rates were through the roof. I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty close to almost being one of them. I was able to use my tools and keep it together.
Yeah,
good for you, man.
Good for you, man. Like you said, it's like you said, it's an ongoing thing, man. It never goes away. It never ever goes away. It's every day. It's an ongoing thing. But thanks again, Birdman, for coming on, buddy. I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you.
For I-90 Sports, for JD, for Birdman, for me, we love you guys. Thanks again for the support. Appreciate y'all. And we are done. We're out. Have a good one, guys. Peace.
Peace.